Pleasure to be here and a real honor to receive the Jack Webster City Mike Award. This one is a big deal for me in a way that I'll briefly explain. When I was a young lad, before I ever thought of becoming a journalist, my dad exposed me to one of his favorite pastimes, talk radio. Back in the 70s, I absorbed heavy doses of Pat Burns' Hotline, Ed Murphy's Reaction Line, and of course Jack Webster's City Mike. With vast audiences, those shows taught this future reporter many things. How to ask questions, when to listen, when to hang up, when to ask yes or no, how to build an argument on a foundation of fact, what a bulletproof opinion sounded like, and perhaps most importantly, who these characters were working for. Jack Webster's obituary in Maclean said, his manner was gruff with anyone who dithered when answering his tough questions, yet gracious with ordinary people who sought his help. Webster was more than a good reporter with a strong voice and a wealth of knowledge. He had a belief system. He was, to quote another Webster, Merriam-Webster, a believer in the rights, wisdom, or virtues of the common people. That's the dictionary definition of the word populist. I mention this because populist these days has become a dirty word. The common people are supposedly not as compatible or as admirable or as trustworthy or as worthy of respect as they used to be. I think it's healthy for us to challenge these assumptions. Anyway, getting back to the life story part, in 1987, after working on and off as a reporter, I moved my young family out to the prairies. I spent the next 25 years working at papers and newspaper groups in Manitoba and Alberta. I would still be there, I'm pretty certain, if I hadn't got a call 6.5 years ago from the Sunshine Coast RCMP. It was about my dad. He was found lying in the road near his home in Half Moon Bay. He was in hospital in Seashell, not in good shape. It was a ticker and I was the only next of kin. I came back to BC because of my dad. He approved of the move with only one condition. I had to find work. Thanks to Peter Kavarnstrom, who's sitting over there, and the great people at Glacier, I did. And I was able to stay close to my dad until he passed away last year at age 90. So I'm not kidding you when I say this Webster is a special one. I'd like to accept it in memory of my father, Frank P. Gleeson, who got me to listen to Burns and Murphy and Webster all those years ago. And I sincerely thank the Jack Webster Foundation for this once-in-a-lifetime honor.